No idea. No idea what's going on. All right. You ready, DB?
Yep. All right.
I'm smiling. It's a good mood today. I obviously practiced, had Sunday off, practice yesterday. I thought we had good practice, had good mentality yesterday. And watching the film, I thought that we played really well for about 30 minutes of the game. Unfortunately got off to a slow start, as we talked about after the game, and buried ourselves a little bit, 15-0. But to come back and be down 9 at 82-73 with 5 and change, I thought we were in pretty good position at that point to make a run at it, and made a couple mistakes there, as I said after the game, on Blackman, and who made us pay. So. But all in all, I thought we did some good things. I thought there were some real bright spots with our personnel. Thought that Nichols and Lucas played really well. Thought that J. Cole played well. Thought Hill had a terrific second half. Thought that Morgan was really good in the paint. Thought we rebounded it well. Took care of the ball well. Was able to get to the free throw line, which I think is a huge thing on the road. 33 times. Thought we did a lot of good things. We just got to have a little bit better start. And then defensively, we've got to be better. And, we had a good stretch there with the lineup that we played in the second half and being able to get some stops. That was good for us. But for the bulk of the game, our defense needs to be better. Got to be a lot better defensively. I like the direction we're headed offensively, and I think guys are starting to find their groove a little bit. And our execution was pretty good the other day on that end. So just got to find a way to impose our will more defensively. Obviously Michigan tomorrow, another unbelievable challenge on the defensive end. They're great offensively. The statistics show that. Their three-point shooting, their execution, putting multiple players out there that can dribble, pass, and shoot. A little bit unique even from years past. Their fives shoot threes and have perimeter skill sets, which makes them even more difficult to defend. It's going to be a great challenge for our team on that end of the floor. Questions?
John, with those guys, Tijon and Kipper being bright spots, what does it take for you to use them more?
They're playing.
I guess.
They're going to play.
How much of practice?
They're playing.
Well, and you sort of implied the other day that they had convinced you in practice that they were understanding, the understanding things a bit.
Especially Lucas has really gotten better defensively. And has done a really nice job on that end of the floor. We always knew that he could take care of the ball. Obviously, Kipper made the most of his time the other night as well. Just felt like it was in our best interest to go with that lineup, being that Indiana played Anunoby at the 4 and at times gives you a 4-guard look. And Kipper gave us some good defense at the position and positions that he defended the other day. And obviously, as I mentioned at the outset there, Top, I think that's what we need. Certainly not that we can't get better on offense, but we've had 9 turnovers in each of the last 2 games. Like I said, we got to the free throw line. We've been good on the glass. Shot selection's really been very good overall here in league play. And I think guys are starting to find their niche there. What we've got to do is we've got to impose more will on the defensive end. And we haven't done that consistently enough for my liking. And so we've got to address that. As I said after the game the other day.
What did you see out of your smaller lineup? What do you think of going small?
Kipper, you say small. I mean, Kipper's 6'6", 6'7", and if I had that body, I might be strutting around campus. He's not exactly small. So he allows you that versatility to guard on the perimeter, Jeremy, as well as guard in the post and compete on the backboard at the same time. So. Obviously, the other day was one game. I thought he practiced pretty well yesterday. He's got to defend, rebound, and take care of the ball, like we talked about with all freshmen. He did that the other day, and thus he had an impact on the game.
You'll discuss it after Saturday's game. You'll need to maybe make some changes. Is that in what you're going to do, or just in maybe the lineups and rotations that are going to do it?
Well, we made a lot. I shouldn't say a lot, but we wrinkled a couple things, obviously pertaining, to Michigan. Michigan's a different opponent than Indiana. Every opponent's different, so we always have adaptations we make, Scott, when it comes to opponent and scouting. But in terms of lineups, there's going to be some changes. I said that the other day after the game, and it's nothing personal. we've got to defend better. I like where we're going offensively. We've got to push more buttons defensively.
Responded well after the Maryland game against Ohio State. How important will it be to do the same tomorrow against Michigan?
Well, you want to do that every game. I thought we responded well the other day. Certainly a lot better than we did at Maryland. I like the look we had over those 30-some minutes, Just when you get down 15-0 like we did, and, we missed some shots on the offensive end. We did. We missed a jump hook right hand with Bo, who usually makes that a pretty high percentage, and we had some other shots we missed that were good ones. They're early. We just didn't defend very well. Scott started the game. That's the reason it got up to 15-0. So the defense has got to get a lot better.
Is there anything to the slow starts that have happened on the road in Maryland and Indiana? I know it's tougher on the road, but is there anything about that has made it tougher?
I don't know. I didn't think we got up to that great start at home either against Ohio State. So, we gave up. I think we won that first war, but it was 10-7 or 12-9. We weren't great defensively to start the game against Ohio State either. We've got to be better defensively. I hate to keep wearing that out, but like I said the other day, if you guys follow us. If I had told you, hey, we're going there and we're going to play with 9 turnovers, shoot 33 free throws, and get the defensive rebounding percentage we got against the top 10 team in the nation on the offensive glass, we're probably all taking that. At the end of the day, we've got to be better on defense.
I guess, with that, what needs to be better? Is it effort or is it execution?
More execution, more, continuing to, obviously the other day we did made some personnel changes there in the second half that I thought were good for us the other day. Each opponent's different. Every day's a new day. You can't assume that, and I've tried to, you got to try to teach guys that just because you defended well, you were locked into scouting today doesn't mean it's an automatic tomorrow. You got to bring it again. Got to concentrate again. Got to digest it again. You got to bring it again. It's an everyday thing. You got to honor the process one day at a time. Obviously that's the challenge for usually a lot of guys that are young. Kipper and T played well the other day. They were pretty good in practice yesterday. Today's a new day. Just because they played well the last couple of times out doesn't mean they're going to play well today if they just show up. So you better have the right mindset, the right physical disposition, and that's where consistency comes into play.
John, you mentioned the challenge of having a roster that's deep. Players got to buy into their roles. What's the challenge for a coaching staff when you have a lot of depth and a lot of different options?
I don't know necessarily, Jeremy. I'm trying to think challenges. I like that. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. What I would say is I like consistency. I think we've got to be, certain guys has got to be more consistent. But, in terms of having depth, I like having depth. That's a good thing. The alternative to that was, I'd live that. So I don't think that's a challenge or, tough thing. Obviously, I would say if I was going to pick one, it would be that, guys got to buy in and embrace what they're supposed to be doing in terms of role-wise. Because now you do have more depth, more bodies. Finding that synchronization, the word I've used a lot this season, that chemistry, when you have more guys. I guess maybe that would probably be the answer. You're saying if there's a challenge, do it. But, we don't apologize for that. We do need some guys to stand out more, I think. Make it easier on the coaches. To make those decisions and not be up and down, and so consistency I think is a big thing with that.
Can Kipper play 4? Do you work with him at both 4 and 3?
Yeah, Kipper can play both positions. Certainly defend both positions. He's learned both positions. He's capable of doing both.
You mentioned have good practice and hopefully have another one today. You had good practices leading up to Saturday's game.
Very good.
How do you, take those and make sure that they translate to the game?
Well, it did translate for 30-some minutes, which is the bulk of the game. It didn't at the beginning. We didn't play as well at the beginning. Got down 15-0. They made shots, but shoot for 30-some minutes when I watched it, from Hill taking a charge, 2 charges, Abrams taking a charge, J. Cole diving on loose balls, running across the floor, challenging shots, Lucas getting steals, Lucas in the gap, closeouts, blocking out, shot selection, taking care of the ball, we were really good for 30-some minutes. And that's not enough in this league to get the outcome that we want. But it's certainly progress from where we were the last time we were on the road before that. So I thought we did some good things. We just need to do it more for 40 minutes, Scott, especially when you're playing all these good teams. You want to be more consistent with it. And you can say, well, 30-some minutes is pretty close to the whole game, but we're not playing horseshoes and hand grenades, so you got to bring it to 40.
Ron Black's. Sorry. The Ron Black's point production comes down from non-conference. Are teams doing something to shut him down? Is he off? How do you?
Well, I think all teams in our league, as good coaches, good players, they know each other. They're very familiar. We're all familiar with each other, and the good coaches and the good teams try to take things away. So that may be part of it. The other part of it is we have just a different type of team than we've had in past years because it's, to get a beat on. We got a lot of guys that can get double figures in a game. A lot. So, to say guys, like, I'll give you an example. The Ohio State game, he gets 15 rebounds. He doesn't get those 15 rebounds, probably don't win the game. Didn't score necessarily a lot of points that day. Maybe in another game he will, depending on how they're playing defensively, what coverage they're playing, how the opponent plays their defense. Take advantage of those situations. The other day it was J. Cole, Mav, and Malcolm. Those guys were pretty good and scored 51 in the second half, and we went through them a lot, and that's what they were giving us, and that's how we played. And, another game might be something different. That's the great thing about having, multiple guys, whether it's LeBron, J. Cole, Mav, Thorne, Tracy, Hill. A lot of those guys are capable of scoring double figures in games. So, are they all going to get double figures on the same night? I'd like for them to, but that's probably not going to score probably 125 points very often. So I think we've got to continue to take what's there. The thing I've emphasized to LeBron is he has such a gift to rebound that he can impact the game and add value at a really high level regardless of whether he makes a shot or not. And that's special. In terms of him scoring, I think as we play over the next however many games, that'll take care of itself.
Looking at Michigan, they have basically an entirely different front court except for Donald. Just how have maybe Wilson and Wagner changed what they do over there?
Obviously they're, Wilson plays the 4 at 6'10". That's a different look, Scott. You're right, than what they played in the past. But he's equally as skilled as what you're used to seeing from the 4 guys that play on the perimeter with them. And then he's added some rebounding presence for them on the offensive glass that's made them, I think, better there. And then Wagner's he's just a tough matchup. He and Denal and both those guys, Denal had 26 in here last year and played great. Those guys make it more difficult to defend them. When your 5s can stretch the floor like that and can make plays with the pass and can play off the deck, it makes it more difficult. So I think that's the dimension that they've added by having those 2 guys collectively, Denal and Wagner, play the 5, and then DJ Wilson may be one of the most improved players in our league. From last year to this year, he's really gotten better, and I think, like I said, gives them rebounding, gives them length, some athleticism, but he also doesn't sacrifice skill with that. The DJ, he's very, very skilled.
Coach, Big Mike's efficiency numbers are up from last year. How would you evaluate maybe the rest of his game? Is he close to where your expectations are for him?
Yeah, I think from a conditioning standpoint, obviously, and health standpoint, which is the most important, Derek, he is, which is great. I've seen that get better and grow a lot over the course of the year. Defensively, we need him to continue to get better. Obviously, in terms of efficiency with the shot, that's at or above the level, that he was at last year. And that's certainly an important part of the game. There's, as he knows, there's other parts as well, defending, rebounding. Fortunately for us, we have a little bit more depth up front than we had last year. And, it challenges guys. It makes practices better. I think it makes our team better. And he's got to be ready to go. Obviously, every game's different. Matchups are different. And we got to have him ready to go just like we do everybody else. I've talked about strength in numbers, and I mean that. So, but Big Bo's a big part of what we do, and we got to have him ready.
Anything on the phone lines? Okay. Anything else in here?
Anything else,
All right.
guys?
Go down to the court to get sort of player interviews here before we start practice.
Rob, no questions? I don't know how you do that. You just stare down at that thing the entire day.
You're getting one.
Rob's got one. All right, Rob.
Oh, God, you regret this
You asked
already, don't you?
No, not today.
Okay, thanks.
I'll ask is next time you ask you just wear those glasses, will you? It's a good look for you. I like it.
Right on now.